All right. Welcome, 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 everyone. So excited and delighted that you are here. And so we are going to go through our intro call is what we're going to do. And this is all about Peru. And do we not love my backdrop, people? I'm bringing you there. I'm dressed properly. We're ready to go. And so the way that I like to always start everything and end everything is in prayer. And I think that it's really important that we go ahead and we call in all of these beautiful energies to be able to invite all of us here. So please close your eyes for just a moment. Blessings of love and blessings of light, blessings of grace and blessings of peace. Heavenly Father, Great Spirit, Pachamama, we call upon the ancient ones. We call upon the sacred leaders and guides, opening our hearts and minds and souls to the clarity and the purity of this beautiful resonance, this heart energy and this connectivity for each of us to enter into the gateways of eternity. We ask this in your precious name. Amen and aho. Woo, feel that. I love the way that goes. Okay, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. So the first thing that I want to do is I really just wanted to start off by introducing Daniel. I have known Daniel for, I don't know, 6 years. I don't know, quite a while. Anyway, quite a while. I've done 7 different trips with him. Different groups have come down there into Peru. We've been in different locations, and every single time it's unique, it's different, it's more, it's wonderful, and it's magnificent. And I am so excited about this particular journey. And so I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over and let Daniel go ahead and chat for a couple of minutes. And then what I'm going to do is I will be going through a very long list of detailed information about how we are going to go through the process. I also have the itinerary detailed out and additional paperwork that I'm going to be needing. So we'll go over all of that afterwards, but this is just kind of the intro part for Daniel to say, hi, here I
Yeah, bye. No.
am.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you, Dr. Judy, for having me here. And I just wanted to pop on and say hello so you could get a chance to meet me. I live here in Peru. I've lived here for 6 years now. Gosh, it's been a long time. I moved here just right before the pandemic, and then they shut the whole country down for 2 years. So it was quite an interesting ride for me. I'm excited about this particular trip because we're doing more sacred chapels, sacred locations that not even Dr. Judy's been to. These are places that I go to that are very private. They're part of communities that aren't usually used to people coming up, and we've created a very beautiful itinerary to keep you in spirit the whole time. And so, one of the very nice things that I told Judy yesterday was that I've decided we have a beautiful new hotel in the center of Pisac. And we have 5 floors in our hotel. The fifth floor being all windows, so you can see all the mountains, the Andes Mountains around. It's very beautiful there. And I've decided to close the whole hotel for the whole week that you're there. So you will have the entire hotel to yourself so that you can make noise. And I know Judy, she likes to make noise. So I said,
Daniel, Daniel.
I better shut it down. I'd rather not be explaining myself every morning, after our meetings or drums or whatever else that we're going to do. So you'll have the hotel to yourself. It's a beautiful hotel, like I said, and I look forward to having you there. We recently had a group from Canada, an indigenous group from Canada that I also ended up closing the hotel, and it worked out better that way because it's private. No one's walking in, it's just you guys. And we have a wonderful, my wife and I will be your guides. My wife is Yannette, and she's in charge of the hotel and kind of making sure that everything goes right. But we have beautiful meals for you and just beautiful places that will go together and stuff like that. I just really want to pop on to say hello. And also, um, it, I, I guess, Judy, if they have any questions that pertains to Peru in terms of altitude place, you can ask me. right now, and I'm happy to answer those questions because people do have concerns. But the just so you know, the hotel's at 10,300 feet, 10,300 feet, and that's pretty much the highest place you will be at. Machu Picchu is actually lower, 7,500 feet. So it's a great place to acclimate. When we go up into the communities, to Che Waititi, then and she'll go over all that with you. Then we are a little bit higher in elevation, but you've already been there long enough that that's not going to bother you. So, but anybody have any questions for me, whether on video or not? You just have to ask.
I say they could raise their hand if you really want to go ahead and ask him
Yeah,
something
or
now.
unmute yourself.
Yep, unmute yourself. Okay, Miss Sue.
Hi, Daniel. This is Sue. I
Hi.
just wanted to, is there anything special that we need to do to adjust to the altitude
No, and let me
prior
tell you
to
my
coming?
yeah, let me tell you my experience over the last 25 years. Some people go to their doctor and their doctor prescribes elevation medicine, and it really is, it's just going to make you sick. The medicine's going to make you sick, and then you're not going to have a good time here. And so I really, if you absolutely feel like you need it, you can always go to your doctor and get or over the counter stuff. But in 25 years, I haven't maybe a handful of people that really needed it. It literally down the street. I even say street because you guys probably think big street. Down the path from my hotel to the right is my doctor, and he speaks English. And if we really need someone to go to the doctor, we can do that. So there's really not a need to be on medication unless your doctor says you need to be on medication. But my experience has been, I just the other day threw out I don't know how many prescription bottles of altitude medication that nobody took.
Oh, wow.
So don't go through the expense unless you just feel like in your body you really need to do that. The
Okay.
other thing that people ask is vaccinations. You do not need any vaccinations for this part of Peru. If you go into the jungle, then it's not mandatory, but you do end up needing some things because it is the Amazon jungle. So, but for this, no, because you're not in the
Okay.
jungle, you're in the valley.
Thank
And
you.
and we will be also having chewing the coca leaves now. And I
Coca
know
leaf.
that most people, understand what that is. It's not like you're getting drugged, okay? So these are just leaves that you have an opportunity to go ahead and to chew on or else have hot tea. And it really does
Yes.
help with that altitude. And for
Yeah.
me personally, what I've found is that, I might end up with a, a, a headache for the first
Headache.
day. It's really, really important to drink a lot of water so that you're continuing to hydrate yourself. And then, kind of an early evening that first night. And we're not going to have a crazy late night the first night anyway. So,
Yeah, we have teas. All of the teas that we offer, all local hand-picked plants. And so they're good for you. Andean mint, chamomile, coca leaf tea, it's all there. And my wife is an expert at making you a cocktail of whatever you need to make sure that you feel better. Usually the headaches, or if you feel dizzy, it's only usually the first evening or the second, and then you don't feel it anymore. If it goes longer than that, you just let us know because we can get you to the doctor and find out what's going on. But I wouldn't worry about it. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Karen, did you want to ask something?
The only other thing, um, my question is there any, thing we need to adjust to with diet there? I mean, I know their food is probably better than ours, but I didn't know. I mean, I know you
It's
can't
very,
eat
yeah,
pork. Yeah,
yeah, everything here is very organic and very fresh. So, in other words, when we make you orange juice, there's no sugar in it. We squeeze it every morning. When we make you strawberry juice or we make you then we hand do it. When you have honey, it's honey from our bees. I mean, everything here, it's kind of a funny thing because in the States, I know you ask someone, is it organic? Over here, it's like, well, what's not organic, right? It's kind of like everything's organic. They don't use, at least where we're at, there's just not a lot of canned stuff. It's all fresh. And the girls go out every morning or the day before and get all the vegetables that we need. Uh, Dr. Judi will have a questionnaire about your diet. If you happen to be vegan or vegetarian, then we'll know and we'll make sure that we make meals that are within your diet. But the food here is amazing.
Okay, great.
You will eat well. So lose some weight so you can gain some weight.
Okay.
Because people always leave here going, "You fed me too much." I said, "Well, I'd rather hear that than tell me that I didn't feed you enough."
I guess we need to
Yeah.
get in shape before we come a little bit, huh?
You know, the best thing you can do, and what I used to do when I lived in Los Angeles and I came out here a lot, is I use the Stairmaster. Because what you want to do is build up your legs.
Okay,
That's what you want to do. Stairmaster, do it for 15, 20 minutes and build up and you'll be fine.
okay,
Yeah, because that's where you need your strength, right?
right.
When it comes to whether your lungs are capable of dealing with altitude, it has nothing to do with how good a shape you're in. It has to do with just how where your lungs are at, and most people are okay with that. At this level. I think when you start going up higher, I mean, my wife and I go to a festival every year that's at 17,000 feet,
Wow.
which is base camp for Mount Everest, right? And that one's a little tougher because we have to walk 8 miles to the location and then, be there. So that one's a little tough for me, but I've gotten used to it. So
Okay, thank you.
you bet.
Mm.
Well, I am looking forward to having you all here. Any questions you have, Judy's an expert. She's been here many times. She pretty much knows the gamut. But if there's anything that she doesn't answer and you need from me, I'm happy to do that. She's absolutely got everything down so that you guys will have a great time and be protected and eat well and be spiritually fed as well. So I look forward to meeting you guys. I'm sure we'll have another call before October. But until then, have a beautiful night. And thank you, Dr. Judi, for having me. And I'm going to go back to watching my
Daniel.
movie.
All right, thank
you.
you. Bye,
Thank
Daniel.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
All right,
I can-
fabulous, fabulous. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start my long list. And I'm just going to kind of go through things. And if you could kind of hold up on questions until we get to the end. But I'm not saying you can't ask questions. If there's something that's definite during that, hit the little hand button, on the bottom so that it gets my attention so that I know that you want to have you've got a comment question along the way. So, first of all, I am going to go ahead and mention, yes, he's closing down the entire hotel. It's a 5-story hotel. It's brand new. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is so wonderful because they really combined the old architecture in with this brand new building. And the top story is where we can go ahead and do some different meeting up there. We can, hold ceremony up there. We can have our own private time. We'll be eating downstairs in the lobby. And yes, just to let you know, there are no elevators. Okay. So that's just another part of the exercise program along the way. So, but because we're going to have the hotel to ourselves, that will allow us the opportunity to be able to do some things in the lobby downstairs instead of always having to go up to the 5th floor, which that was another one of my comments. So anyway, so paperwork, we have the application. Anybody who's interested, and I see some different faces who are on here than what I have been reaching out to. So please, if you're interested, email me and I will send you an application. I would like to go ahead. You can even put your email address in the chat box if you want as well. So that way, then I can send you a copy of the recording along with the different paperwork if you have not received it already. You'll need to have the application in ASAP. That's a big deal. And I need a photocopy of your passport. And we have to have the image of the passport in order to purchase our Machu Picchu tickets. And so we will need to purchase the Machu Picchu tickets by probably the end of April, because in order to be able to get the group to be together, we have to purchase them all at the same time. And so that can be a little sticky when people are trying to join at a later point in time. So that's why I'm really so adamant about trying to complete the bookings at this point to really know who's going to be going on the trip. And, you know, whoever wants to show up at a later point in time, I'll be going back in May of 27 because I am going to do a jungle trip for the first week. And then we're going to go ahead and do the temple tour for the second week because I know that this is going to be so amazing. Another form that you'll be filling out is a trip and medical insurance travel release. And so you need to have medical insurance, proof of medical insurance within that form, the liability form that I'll be sending to you. I do have a representative's name and number at a later point in time, but I'm just letting you know that that is something that needs to be there. And you probably do want to go ahead and get your own trip insurance. I mean, you know, you just want to be able to have that as an option. We never know what's really going to happen. Passport is absolutely required 100%. And the way it works is 6 months after our return date, that passport has to still be good in order to get back into the United States. So that means that your passport must be valid through April 25th, 2027. So if it's going to run out prior to that, go ahead and get it redone now. And I redid mine recently, and because I was redoing it and I was able to do it online, and literally it came in 2 weeks. I was really surprised. But the renewal process really can take a couple of weeks to a couple of months, depending on what's going on in that process. So that's just a FYI. The cost of the trip is $35.55 per person. And what is included? So you're going to be going to the Catalina Retreat Center, which is also the Tranquility Hotel. So I have, this is actually the third different location that I've worked with Daniel at in Peru, which is really wonderful to see the evolution, the changes, the different, you know, energies. We are going to be staying inside PZAC. So this is the first time that we're actually going to be inside the community. But that's really a nice thing because, first of all, you know, we're right around all this other stuff that's just nearby as well. So there will be some really nice benefits to being in PZAC, but also having the opportunity of that fifth floor really gives you that incredible, beautiful view and not in the hustle bustle of anything. We're just in the quietness. What's included within it is all the different resort meals. So you know, all of our breakfasts and dinners that are going to be at the center are absolutely included in there. We will pick you up at the airport. So transportation, absolutely everywhere that we are going while you are there with us, is all included within that. Back and forth to the different locations, all the different guides. And we'll be working with, you know, again, train ticket, bus ticket, admission to Machu Picchu, several different ceremonies with local Paco shaman, and tips for the resort, drivers, guides, village, opportunity for plant medicine and drum making experience, and then group meditation and message readings from me. So the cost is based on a double occupancy, a single occupant. If you wanted to have your own space, we even have that as an option this time. That's very unusual because we don't usually have enough space to do that. But because we have this, we do have that as an opportunity. So if somebody wants your own room, you can, but it will be an additional $1,500. So just to let you know that. But it's something that we can accommodate this time, which that's exciting for me to be able to say that to people. Trip payments, the deposit is $555, non-refundable, and then the payments, you can go ahead and pay it in full at any point in time, obviously. But if you're doing a monthly, January 30th, the next $1,000 is due, April 30th, the next 1,000, and then final is by June 30th, because we need to really have all of that money in. I've got to be able to send it forward to be able to secure all the different, you know, drivers, rides, blah, 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 all the people and everything. I collect money in all kinds of ways. Let's be real, so Cash App, Venmo. If you do Cash App or Venmo or you mail a check, then there aren't any service fees. If you need to be able to, you put it on a credit card, that's perfectly fine. And some people want to do the credit cards because they want to do the points so that then they can go ahead and use that towards their different flights and things like that and travel and hotel for a later point in time. And that's perfectly fine. It's just you end up having to pay the service fees as well. So just let me know. Doesn't matter to me, whichever way that you decide to do that. What is not included in the trip, your flight to and from Peru, your meals traveling. So when we're gone during the day and we are, at different activities and things, oftentimes we're going to grab lunch wherever we are because we're going to be too far away from the retreat center to pop home for lunch. So you guys will be paying for all of your own meals there. If you decide you want to participate with the plant medicine or the drum making, those are each $225. And then you'll have an opportunity for horseback riding or ATV rental as well. And that's $35. And shopping. Let me tell you, shopping is yours. How to pack. Remember, you are traveling to a third world country. This is not a fashion show. And I say that with the greatest of love. This is about dressing for comfort. It's so important. Plan to pack layers because the temperature is going to do absolutely everything. It might be really cold in the morning and then it might be blazing hot in the afternoon and it's going to rain on you in between. So you will always make sure that you need to have, your different layers of clothing and that your shoes are comfortable. Shoes are so important to remember when you're in this process because you can go ahead and hike in your sneakers. It's not that you can't hike in your sneakers, but if you decide you want to get yourself some hiking boots to be able to have a little bit of stronger ankle support, that's great. But get them early and start wearing them. Don't just buy brand new shoes and go with the brand new shoes and wonder why your feet hurt. Right? But definitely plan to bring 2 pairs of shoes because your shoes could get wet and you really may need to then, have that opportunity to be able to have some dry shoes as well. Socks are really, really important. Remember, it rains there on a regular basis. It will be going in and out of rainforest areas. That's where Machu Picchu is located, is in the actual rainforest. So even if it's not raining, it might just be really foggy. So it's important for you to know that, the weather temperature is going to change. The temperature fluctuates really between 40 and 70. And however, it's interesting because when you're in a higher elevation, it really is a different temperature feel for most of us because you don't have the same level of humidity as well. So it seems like it's a little bit warmer because of the drier air. So that's just kind of something to think about. You will need to bring a backpack or a carry bag always with you that you'll be using throughout the entire journey. You'll carry your own water at all times. At Catalina, they will have the big, 5-gallon jugs that you can go ahead and refill your water with, which, by the way, you do not drink the water in Peru. Okay, you do not drink the water in Peru, not from any faucet. You have to have bottled water. So you can also carry an extra pair of shoes and make sure that you have some type of a raincoat always with you wherever you're going. And you might want an extra pair of socks to have as well. When you're looking at your suitcases and what you're going to be packing and bringing along the way, again, you're not going to be bringing, tons of hair dryers and all of that just curling stuff and it's not that the hotel doesn't have electricity. It absolutely has electricity. However, you don't want to overwhelm. It's a different type of infrastructure that is supporting the cities and the communities that are there. So what I usually suggest is that you go ahead and check one bag, and you may want to have your backpack or carry bag as whatever it is for the rest of you. you are definitely going to want to have some type of a warm type of a jacket. Now, I definitely have gone there for a week and not used a jacket at all. Or else I have been poured on for 2 solid weeks. So it just depends on what particular journey you're on and what is exactly happening. Now, the time of the year makes a big difference as well. And so March is definitely February, March, January, February, March. That's more the rainy season. So this is the wettest time. So we are going at a dry time. So that's a wonderful time that we're going. So we should not have the same level of issues with all of that rain. Environment and terrain. We'll be flying into Cusco, which has the altitude of 11,000 feet. Machu Picchu, again, he told you was a 7,500. And so we're going to be there where he's at in Pisac, which is the 10,300 feet. The high elevation, you definitely could be, a dull headache, maybe nauseous. But again, really, really important to just keep yourself hydrated and be mindful of what your body is feeling. And you really may want to go ahead and plan on, taking a couple of aspirins that first day if you really have that kind of nagging headache, to just kind of allow yourself to catch up. And then you definitely can go ahead and chew the coca leaves or drink the coca leaves in a tea, and or there's all kinds of different, natural herbs and flowers, and it is such a beautiful experience where everybody just knows how to live with all of these wonderful natural healing items that are available for all of us to have access to, that here in the Western world we really are unfamiliar with. We just it's not something that we um, will go take a pill. We don't realize what really is around us and available for us to be able to do that. Nobody's ever had hallucinations from the coca leaves that I've ever seen. So, it's just for chewing. We'll be walking and traveling on uneven surfaces. So please know that Peru rarely has ADA anything accessibility. I'm not saying that you can't go and, where there's uneven grounds, and we will definitely be driving. We will have 15 passenger van, and we will have two is what we're going to have, to make sure that we have enough comfortability for everybody. But it's about, we will drive wherever we can go to. But that doesn't mean that the ground isn't going to be unsteady. I mean, we're going to be walking up paths that are rocky. I'm telling you, there's a lot of roads and they don't know what tar is. That's not what we're going to be taking you to, these wonderful, beautiful, amazing spaces and places that's back in time. So, be mindful of where you're stepping and how you're stepping. People will often ask me, should I bring a walking stick? And you absolutely could bring a walking stick if you want to bring a walking stick. What I have found, most people that bring the walking stick find it more of a burden to carry. They don't find it so much of a useful tool. It's not that you don't have other people that can help you with that process. And maybe you find one that's actually a folding one or something that you can easily stick in that backpack, so you have it in case you want it along the way. But you'll be getting up and down and in and out of the van is the way that is. But in Machu Picchu, just to let you know, there are handrails that are along the actual walkways of what we are going to be walking up and down. So the way that works with the Machu Picchu, just to give you a quick, we're going to take our ride in the van to be able to get to the small community of Ollantaytambo. And once we get there, then we'll, grab a breakfast, and then we'll go ahead. Oh, and we get on the train, and then we get on the train, and then we take that to the small community of Mount Shasta. And then once we get off there, then we'll have the breakfast. We will be leaving with a bag breakfast because we're going to leave by 4:30 in the morning. So it's a very, very early day, but it's a long day, but it's a fabulous day. Then we go ahead and we hop on a bus, and we take the bus up to the top of Machu Picchu. Now, when we get to the top of Machu Picchu, there's many different trails in order to be able to use. I've already arranged for 2 different guides to be there. One is going to take a little bit more of a strenuous walk, and the other one is going to take more of a flat trail. We will still end up in the same location, but there's just different ways of getting to that same location. But there are handrails that are specifically there that will help you. We're not like in a in a big fat hurry to get through the process. They usually have people go through that space in about a couple of hours, is the way they kind of work that along the way. And we will have time to stop to take photos, and then as a group we will all kind of sit together and just do a little bit of a prayer meditation. And I will not be so loud this time because I got yipped at for being too loud last time. Daniel's so right. It is loud. It's not just Judi, right? Okay. So the tranquility, and the other thing that's important to know, when we do get up to Machu Picchu, they have wonderful lockers that are available, so you don't have to carry everything with you the entire time. So that's kind of a cool thing as well. So, because we're going to be traveling all day long, and so you'll have a lot of things, but you can leave it in the locker and just take what you want to take that's going to be along the way. And then we'll be, stopping for photos and things like that. All right, we already talked about that. Shopping. Peru is so well known for its hand quality everything, okay, and textiles, absolutely. And I really did want to go ahead and to wear this a moment because it's so important for you to know that everything that they're making is done the old way. And the jewelry is a higher quality silver that's there. And these are hand done stones. And you will have an opportunity, obviously, to shop in wherever we're going to be going in these different places along the way. However, we Daniel and I know some specific people that we absolutely know that they're very reputable, and so if anything would ever happen to your item, then we could get it returned and replaced. So that's just kind of an informational note as well. And we will have some people that will pop into the actual Tranquility Hotel and be there available. And then you'll have shopping opportunities certainly when we go to the villages and when we go to a couple of key places along the way. Money. So, all right, let me back to the packing one more thing. Because donation options. So Daniel always provides all kinds of gifts for children there in Peru. So one of the things that I have done with a lot of my different groups is I have gone ahead and had them, if they wanted to bring some children's gifts, you could go ahead and pack some, bring some children's gifts. And or if there's things that you want to bring your older clothes and choose to leave them. One of the things that Peru, they never get first cut anything, right? So when we have an opportunity to buy our socks, we can go ahead and buy our Nike socks, and they're the best Nike socks that Nike makes. They get like the third run of the Nike socks. The Nike socks that weren't good and the ones that were really not good, that's the only option that they have to purchase. So the quality of clothes that we are able to purchase, even if it's old, they will absolutely use. And so this is a funny story because I'm sitting here having a fit. It's freezing in Florida right now, right? And I'm like, where's all my winter clothes? Well, every time I go to Peru, I bring all my wonderful warm winter clothes. And then, doggone it, I bring home all these treasures and I can't fit everything. So there go my clothes. It's like I have all these wonderful. It is cold right this minute it's 30 degrees. So yes, it is cold in Florida. Anyway, so and that's the thing. You may want to bring an extra suitcase so that you can bring back items. Certainly a couple of you have stores and things like that. So you really may want to plan to bring an extra suitcase so that you're able to bring these handmade wares back and so that you're able to share that. And I know I am an amazing shopper when I go to Peru. And it's not that I love shopping. I am going to support these people because they've opened their homes and their hearts to allow us in. And so, yes, they tag me as Mrs. Claus, and that's what I do. I show up, and I'm able to bring whatever it is. Poor Leslie says it's -1. All right, people are having some cold weather, people. I'm sorry, guys, but yes. Anyway. All right. Another question that people always ask, is about the money and all of that world. So first of all, the money exchange is lovely, and that's a wonderful thing because it's 3.8 there. Okay. So that each American dollar is worth $3.80 soles. And so that's a wonderful exchange. And it usually stays kind of along and around that. The thing is, we will actually exchange our money first thing when we get to Cusco, because that's where you're going to have the largest exchange rate. The further that you get from Cusco, the lower that exchange rate goes. When you are, and they want you to bring large dollar bills that are crisp, 50s and $100 bills, because most of their exchange offices use machines. So you actually put the bills in and then they will come back out again. So they really need to have the large crisp bills. You can absolutely 100% use your credit cards. And you can use your credit cards at the different, with the different vendors, some of the different vendors, depending on, certainly not in the village, people. You cannot use your credit card in the village. Okay. But you can with, with some of the larger places that we'll be going to, you can use that, which that's always helpful. And or you can go to, we will be stopping along the way to get additional money if people need to. And since we're going to be right there in PSEC, it's going to be easy to be able to go, and you can withdraw money from your credit card and or from your bank. The thing that you just need to know is that you're going to get a double hit, okay? Because you're going to go ahead and you're going to get a hit from your bank for taking the money out, and you're going to get an out of country hit as well. So that's just kind of another FYI just to be aware of. But I do go ahead and suggest that, make sure that you do bring a credit card so that you have it available. And, I always tell people, it's okay to bring extra money, because one of the other things that I always encourage people to do when they are there is we always buy gifts, right? We buy Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, we buy gifts for people around in our lives all the time. Why would we not want to be able to share some of these incredible handmade, beautiful things with our friends and family members? Because they are unique, incredible gifts that they may not ever have the opportunity to receive. And each of you know, because of the energy of you, that they are filled with that love and that resonance. And so you are exchanging that beautiful energy and the love of that land and the people and the teachings and the ancient ways with your loved ones as well. So, you really may want to think about that. It's okay to spend the money there. Just a lot, and there may be things, and the artwork is just exquisite, and I have incredible pieces of art all over my house. Okay, booking flights. We're going to move on. So Latam Airlines, LATAM, Latam Airlines, that is the primary airline that you will be using to go into South America. And I don't care if your airline says it's Southwest or it says it's Delta or if it says that it's American, it's going to end up being Latam. Okay. So you can go to Latam directly and you can book from wherever it is that you want to book from. I did just go ahead and online the other day and look at the prices, and it looks like the flights are about $800 right now. So that's a really good price. And you will be flying into CUZ, Cusco, Peru. Everyone, you will be leaving either on October 18th in the middle, like at 12 o'clock, 12:01, or very late on October 17th, but you'll be flying through the night is what you're more than likely going to be doing. We need everybody to be in the airport between 9 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. on October the 18th. Now, just to let you know, you will be flying through the Lima airport, and Lima Airport now has rental pods for people to sleep in. So this is kind of a really cool thing that's coming into play. You can plan your departure flight from Cusco after 3 p.m. on October the 24th. And usually your flight will go out around 5:36, and then you'll go to Lima. And by the time Lima is a very large airport, just to let you know. Cusco is a teeny tiny airport with almost nothing in it. Okay. So if you get dropped off at the Cusco airport at midnight, um, there's nothing there. Okay. So change your flight so that you stay in Lima and then you fly out first thing in the morning at like 6 in the morning to end up at Cusco for that 9 to 11:30. Okay. And you may end up a little bit before 9, and that's okay. But the way it's going to work is that we're going to meet you there at the airport so that we're going to collect everybody, and I will know all of your flight information. You are going to go ahead and you're going to send me that information so that I know which flight to expect to see you on. And also be mindful that your suitcases, they'll always charge you for each suitcase that you have as well. Okay. So it's important for you to know that. I have paid, by the way, up to $1,500 for a ticket. And you need to really be clear and mindful as to how you are booking your ticket, because you could go ahead and fly for 48 hours if you're looking for a really good deal, and you may not want to take all 6 of those flights. So you will need to have an international departation somewhere in America and or Canada, wherever you're going to be coming from. And then that means that you will end up, again, we will all meet together. Most people will connect in Lima, and then you'll be coming in on a couple of the different flights. Usually there's 3 flights that will come in around an hour and a half difference with that timeline. And one of the other things that I'll be doing is I create a WhatsApp group so that we'll all be in the WhatsApp, and so that people will have an opportunity. And this is one of the reasons that I like doing this as well. So you get a chance to peek at each other, and you have an opportunity to see each other's faces, and you have an opportunity to say, hey, I'm at the Baltimore airport. Are you at the Baltimore? What are you wearing? So you really get a chance to connect with all of your other flyers, and then everybody gets a chance to get to know each other. They're so funny. They've gone and they've stood up in the middle of the plane. Is anybody here with Judi Weaver? And there'll be 3 or 4 of them. And so it's just really nice, because you're going to meet people on this trip that will be your life friends forever, which that is so exciting and cool. And so I love that people have that opportunity to do that. Also be mindful of your bags and the weight. Okay. And so the maximum weight for checked bag is 23 kilograms, which is 51 pounds. And the max size for the baggage is, again, that 62 inches. Make sure that you go back to the different website of your airlines, because yours could be different from what that is in Peru. So depending on which flight you're going to be on, they may have different requirements and different payments around. I've got all kinds of links that I'm going to be sending with this particular email, so that everybody has an opportunity to really look at this and listen to it. Again, the travel insurance proof of travel is going to be available. I have a lady that I've been working with. Her name is Whitney McQueen. And so what she's doing is she's just given us a wonderful IMG Global. And it's just a link that you can work your way through. You can pick your age, you can pick your, and it definitely is a little higher the older that we are for the insurance along the way. But you must already have a medical insurance plan in order to get the medical insurance coverage within. If you do not already have medical insurance, it's not that she can't support you and help you. You absolutely can, but it's going to require an additional contract than what just this one is. Okay, so that's just information on your own. I'm really excited to be able to offer some different wonderful events that take place. And the first is building your own drum. And I love the ability and capability of building our own drums. It's $225, and it's a 13-inch hand drum, and the skin is cowhide. And it is there's different shaman, and they call them pacos, is what they call them in Peru. With shaman is what we call them here in America. So they have a wood frame based, and they are very well constructed, and you will actually, be cutting the holes that are around it, and you will be, doing that twine and pulling it, and you will have an opportunity to really put your energy into this piece. And it's beautiful because, most people, when they leave, they then use that as their healing tool. That's something that they have that they will continue to use the rest of their life. And they also have wonderful handmade bags that are available, and that's usually $25 extra. Okay, so but that's American money, just to let you know. But it's nice to get a drum carry case, and sometimes it'll fit in your suitcase and sometimes it doesn't. But if it is able to fit in your suitcase, I stuffed it with all kinds of different things. I put my jewelry in it, I put my textiles in it, I put all kinds of stuff in it, because it's not that it had much weight, and it was able to carry all kinds of, you should have seen the immigration going through my drum to see all the treasures I had in it. That was kind of a fun thing. And yes, they will inspect your bag. So that's just something just to be aware of. At any time they can stop and they can inspect your bags. Okay. Um, I'm going to mention one other thing because I didn't mention it, and I'm just going to say it. This is really something I usually talk about on a later call, but everyone will be changing planes in Lima. When you get to Lima, everyone will need to collect your bags, because all of your bags will need to be picked up, and then you go back and you put them back into the airport once again, so that then it will go to Cusco. When you're leaving Cusco, it will generally go from Cusco directly to the United States. So depending on where you are flying out of, you may have to then pick it up after you get into the United States, but you do not have to pick it up in Lima again. It will fly through Lima, but on the way down, you will be changing bags in Lima. And that will be another call discussion, because I'll go through all kinds of details of how to do the airport and that process. Plant medicine. So plant medicine is a wonderful opportunity for individuals. And so there are these beautiful people who have lived their entire life connecting to the heartbeat of the earth, the energies of the land, and medicines. And so we are working with two of the most incredible foremost authorities. These shaman have been doing this their entire lives. They have been working with they make the medicine themselves. This is a very, very important thing, because when you are working with plant medicine, it's always about the intention and the creation of it. And that's the whole point of all of this. So many people are doing these different medicines, but they don't understand what they are doing, why they are doing it, and they're going in for the high of it. This isn't just the high of it. This is an introspection. And what we're going to be doing is Wachuma, which is really working with the San Pedro plant. So this is a big cacti that is located. And the medicine is a softer medicine, where then it allows you the opportunity to really expand yourself. Now, ayahuasca is a medicine that we will be doing when we go back to, when I go to the jungle in 2027. That will be an ayahuasca experience, and we'll actually be making our own ayahuasca, which is a really interesting opportunity. But the Wachuma is, when you do ayahuasca, let me just go back to the differential. When you're doing ayahuasca, you're really going into the deep part of you, to old traumas and dramas, to be able to release them, to find them, to be able to work your way through them. Wachuma is different because you are really expanding the cell structure and the spirit resonance of your body into the connectivity of the earth that is around you, so that then you are receiving directly that information from the elements, from the water, from the fire, from the air, from the mineral composition, from the trees. You may find yourself having full conversations with a rock that's there. And when we are going to be doing this particular medicine, we are going to go to sacred land with these different pacos in order to hold the ceremony. We will not be holding the ceremony at the hotel. We have to be out in the land. This does not require you to change your diet. When you're doing ayahuasca, you have to really change your diet for 2 weeks ahead of time, and then you have to remain in a different dietary resonance afterwards. When you're doing the Wachuma, we're going to actually be doing it the day after we come back from Machu Picchu. And so we'll have our last meal in Machu Picchu before we get on the train, and then you won't eat again until after you're done with the plant medicine ceremony. Plant medicine, again, this is something for people if they want to or they not. And so if you're not going to be participating in the plant medicine, then you will actually stay at the Tranquility Hotel, and you have a day of reflection, and or you can, poke around the town the way you want. I do encourage people to not go out alone. I do encourage people to not go out alone. And if you're going to be out and about, let somebody know that you've gone out so that we're able to recognize if you're not going to be there. You won't have a lot of free time to run around in different places, but I just want to be mindful of that because that's something different for me that I haven't had to really deal with before. We've been really secluded away from having that. And I don't, and I will tell you, there's people who are very hungry. So this is not something that's new to you guys. These are people that are very hungry and they want to sell you everything. And so you just need to be a bit mindful of where you are. I'm not saying that you are going to be targeted, but they will target you to buy things and they will follow you down the street. So it's important to be able to have somebody else that's alongside of you as well. Okay, and I also had done a little video on plant medicine when I had gone up and done some ceremony in Asangate Mountain. It's a half-hour video. I'll give you the link on it. Again, this is something that is very, very important for each of you to pray into, to feel into, and to make that decision for yourselves. This is something that you need to really allow yourself to be in that mindfulness with, so that you are feeling, that comfortability of whatever that is within that journey. I have participated and I have held the energies for people. Every single time I go, I ask and they tell me what the difference will be. So, and every single experience is different and unique based on where you are within your spiritual journey and what you're being called to develop into. Another thing that is on the application is your family, friends, contact information. That's, really important to be able to have that information so that we have that emergency stuff that's on there. Everybody will need to go ahead and download WhatsApp. And so WhatsApp is an app, and it's a fabulous app for you to be able to connect with your friends and family at home as well, because depending on where you are, we will have some service for some phones. We'll have accessibility service, but some of them would be very expensive. And so you may or may not want to be able to, utilize that. That's definitely up to you. But you're going to want to let your provider know. But if you're doing WhatsApp, then that's all computer, and we will have internet at the hotel. So just to let you know that as well. And so that's all internet driven, and so there's no cost for that as well. And that's how we're going to be doing our group chats, is within the WhatsApp, and it gives you a place also to drop your photos, because everybody then has a really we're taking fabulous photos, not necessarily of ourselves, but of everybody else. So it gets you a chance to get the pictures of yourself along the way. And within that actual release form, it does say that we have an opportunity to be able to take your picture, because I am hiring a photographer specifically to be able to work with us one day, the day that we're going to go up into that sacred temple in Chiriatiti. I really want to bring a professional to be able to capture, because this truly is a once in a lifetime opportunity that we can never know if we'll ever be allowed to do it again. So electricity, again, electrical currents and the plugs, they're not the same in Peru as what they are in America. So you may want to go ahead and get yourself one of those converters, the adapters, an international adapter. Most of your phones are changing now. Back in the day, you had to definitely have something different, but now it seems like the phones, they're able to really go ahead and charge differently. And or Daniel's got a couple of those pads. It's a good thing to bring one of those pads, and then other people can set the phone by the pads to be able to charge that as well. And you are going to want to have a camera. Okay, so your phone's your camera or whatever, you're going to want to have a camera. Just as a time note to let you know, the time is at the very most 1 hour difference from American Eastern Standard Time. So you're not going to have a big shift in having to deal with a lot of, well, I mean, some people could be coming from the West Coast, so they might have a couple of hours. So that depends on that. But yeah, you're going to, again, be mindful of the electricity as well, because there's usually a such and such amount, and I have been there where they have absolutely shut the electricity off because it's Monday morning and nobody gets electricity on Monday morning. Okay, that can be real. So just an informational note. Plumbing, all paper products they are all thrown in the garbage. They are not flushed down the toilet. Not flushed down the toilet, not flushed in the toilet. A lot of the septic absolutely will go into waterways there. And so you just cannot put any paper into the toilets at all. It will absolutely clog things. And again, do not drink the water from the faucet. Not even for your teeth brushing. You'll each get a bottle of water, and then you're going to bring some type of a container that you're going to be able to hold your own water in as well. But you're just going to have that's going to be available for you. Language. So the primary language in Peru is Quechua. Okay. But when you were looking at the different cities, and there's such a large, South American population, that actually Spanish is becoming very, very prevalent. So if you're able to speak Spanish, you absolutely can get around pretty well. And so Yannette she comes from a village, so she speaks Quechua, and Daniel speaks Spanish. And so oftentimes we will have two interpreters that will be able to provide us with information, because when we're going to that community of Chiriatiti, that is actually Yannette's uncle. And so that's just kind of a really cool thing. So I'm going to take a moment. Well, I want to go through the itinerary. If you guys are good, I'm going to just go right through the itinerary, and then we'll go ahead and I'll open it up for questions. Okay. So we'll fly in the first day. We'll arrive in Cusco again. That 9 to 11 timeline is what we're really going to aim for. And one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to go to the exchange office, so everybody gets a chance to change in their money, because you're going to want to have some money, and we want to get the most money that you can get for your money. Okay. And then we're going to go to a wonderful Indian meal. And then we're going to stop at this llama farm. And this llama farm is really cool because it gives you a chance to feed the llamas and to be able to see them. And it's a wonderful, it's a shop as well, because they will give you a quick education about the different types of llama, alpaca, wanaka, different types of furs that you may, and different type of tapestries and textures. So it's good information to have right off the bat so that you have that. And we have a wonderful shaman that will be there doing a welcome blessing. We will then go back to Tranquility Hotel, have dinner, and then after dinner, we will do like a welcome, get to know your fellow people, kind of go through what the events are going to unfold. The first day, we're going to go to, and I know I'm not going to say these names right, and we're just going to do that, so just ignore me. The Napa Iglesias Chapel. But there's a whole bunch of other words anyway. And that is a really cool, it's a mysterious carved stone Incan temple that's located in the Sacred Valley. And I had an opportunity to go there my very first time. And it is such a powerful, powerful sacred place. And so there, Daniel and I and Yannette will hold a despacho. Is what we're going to do for ceremony there. And then we're also going to go to the Catarina Serena Cacho Leme waterfall on that day as well. And then we'll have dinner at Catalina, and then we'll have some reflection. The next day will be our Indigenous Community Day. And so again, there's 24 different Indigenous communities that are located in San Salvador and Pisac in the Sacred Valley. And these are high up in the mountains, way up high. And it's so beautiful to be able to have the opportunity to go to these places where people just don't go. I mean, most of these people do not have any vehicles. Many of them don't even hardly have shoes. It is such a different life. It's a different way, but you've never met happier people. They will actually walk up. I've gone where they spent an entire day walking up into the fields so that they could spend the second day picking the potatoes to walk a third day carrying the potatoes back so they could make the sacred meals that they were sharing with us, with the medicine people. When I tell you this is such a profound, amazing opportunity, you will not be the same. You cannot be the same because of all of the wealth of the wisdom that's shared within this. We are going to go to beautiful ancient lands. And within that, we are also going to have the opportunity to be able to, where they have the hieroglyphs and their actual temple that they attend. This is their private temple. They need a community service project. They need a roof. And because these different walls are all hand painted from the herbs, the flowers, the roots, the dyes of all of these natural resonances. And that's what is depicted within. And the roof is made of, again, just that straw hay world. And they need a new roof. And so that's part of what we're doing, is that we're going to be providing a roof. We're going to provide them with the funds to be able to do that roof. So if that's something that you want to go ahead and contribute towards, I would greatly appreciate your donation as well. But that's something I promise to be able to do, because to have this opportunity to go there is truly priceless. And so I have committed to that as well. And we will be there the entire day, and then we'll have dinner at the back at Catalina. Then the next day we get up really early. Usually I would leave at 4 o'clock, but because we're starting and in Pisac, I said 4:30. So I think we get the extra half hour. I'm not positive. Maybe it's 4:15. Anyway, but and everybody will have your bag lunch. You'll all have your tickets. You will need to have your passport with you all the time. Your passport has to be with you many, many times. The police will pull us over because they are checking the drivers to make sure that they are licensed and that they are qualified to be able to be working with groups, and they can absolutely ask to see all of our passports as well. So you must have your passport with you wherever we are traveling. And when we really go up to Machu Picchu, that is going to be the time that you're going to really be connecting with the four directions, with their power animals. You'll be connecting with the condor, you'll be connecting with the puma, you'll be connecting with the serpent, and you'll be connecting again with what did I forget? Puma, condor. I didn't make my way through all four anyway. Oh, hummingbird. I don't think I have my hummingbird on the list. My gosh, I don't know where my hummingbird went. Anyway, I need to add that. And this is just kind of a fun story. So the first time that I went to Machu Picchu, and again, it was during COVID. And so we had to wear masks, which was just insane to be outside wearing masks. But these incredible, Paco came walking up the hill and they were getting ready to do the sun ceremony. And of course, we were there right for the spring equinox time. And so they were going out to do their sun ceremony. And so we ended up following the same trail, but just after them. And it actually was the Inca Trail. You'll be walking on the Inca Trail. And as I was coming up and I went around the corner, there was this great big hummingbird. And I was like, wow. And they have magnificent hummingbirds. Literally, there's like 25 different kinds of hummingbirds, but hummingbirds up to this size. I mean, it's crazy and incredible, beautiful, colorful. And it was so funny because it was like my, I don't know, fifth or sixth time that I was there at Machu Picchu. And I was talking to the guide about how I'd seen the hummingbird the first time. And he looked at me and he says, "We have no hummingbirds here. It's too high." I said, "Yeah, right. Well, I knew exactly what I saw." So again, you will have these magic events that will unfold, and you may not even realize how magical they are. So it's so important to be attentive and to pay attention to the different aspects. So the next day after we go ahead and we do the Machu Picchu, that will be our plant medicine drum building day or day of reflection. So again, people who are staying at the hotel and they're doing a reflective day, a quiet day, then and depending on the number of them, we could go ahead and maybe bring in a masseuse, if that was something that people wanted as well. Or they can just dawdle around and just kind of reflect, because it's important to really take this stuff in. You've got to be journaling. You've got to be having some introspection of what's going on with that as well. And then we will leave directly, early in the morning to start our plant medicine day. We will be having dinner back at the Catalina Retreat Center, but you'll be fed at the end of the plant medicine, because that's how you're actually given soup and you're given fruit. And it's the most delicious food you've ever eaten in your entire life, because all of your senses are magnified 25,000 times. And so everything is just electric within that receptivity. And your body is just eager to receive the nutrition as your heart is connecting with that food in a whole different way. And they actually play music as well. So they'll be drumming, they'll be singing, they'll be, and he's got a fabulous didgeridoo that he plays as well. So again, really, really beautiful process. We'll do the drum building later in the day. And then we get to Friday, we're going to be going to, this is another amazing thing. So down out by the salt mines, there are some archaeological sites that they literally are building roads to now. People have not ever gone them, because they're just discovering them and building the roads to them. And we are going to go to some of these archaeological sites so that we get a chance to feel, to sense, to connect, and to be able to anchor that energy. We will also go to the salt mines as well. And so the salt mines are beautiful. They're flats is what they are. They're flats that are available. We'll have the breakfast at the Tranquility Hotel, and then we will spend the day in and around all of these incredible, beautiful ancient sites, walking. We'll have lunch that will be there at that same salt mine area, because they have a lovely restaurant, and literally the llamas walk through the restaurant. You ever said. So they go ahead and they give you the food that you can go ahead and feed them, and you can feed them outside, but then they just open the door and let them just kind of walk in. Now they don't walk necessarily by the table, but yeah, they're wandering in and out of the restaurant, which is just kind of so wild. But what a beautiful thing. and you're out there with these rolling, beautiful hills, and you're far away from everybody. And so what they have done is they actually have horseback riding and ATV opportunities. And so people will have an opportunity if you want to go ahead and ride an ATV, which I did the last time, and it was about, I'm going to say it was about an hour and a half ride is what it was. And we went out and stopped and sat with this chapel and just, again, connecting with the land, seeing beautiful, beautiful places that were there. But you could ride the horse or you don't have to. The other thing that's around that same area is they've got some little shops that are there right along the salt area because it gives you a chance to be able to buy the salt that's right from there. They have chocolate, they have other handmade wares, and a lot of times there's musicians that are there. So then you have an opportunity if you don't want to go on the ATV and you don't want to go ahead and then people just said that they went and they just laid down and took a nap and they just connected with the land is what they did. So that's a beautiful opportunity. And then it comes to our last day. You'll be leaving early in the morning. We'll have breakfast at Catalina first thing. And then it's called, and let me back up. So when we get back to Catalina that night after doing the salt mine day, we'll have dinner at Catalina, and then I will be doing the closing ceremony. And so again, everybody will have a chance to be able to receive trans-channeled messages of guidance and information. If I have time in between, I do offer some private sessions, but I will say that I have very little time in there. So if that's something that you desire, let me know. Or you may want to do a session prior to going so that way you feel like you're prepped, or you may want to go ahead and do something directly after. So those are opportunities, having that connection with your people. I like to be able to help walk with you because most of you I've been working with. There's a couple that are new, and that's wonderful and exciting because I love meeting my new people. But again, it allows for you to tap into a different level of energy as well. So the last day you'll be leaving with your suitcases first thing in the morning, and then you'll be heading to Cusco. And when you get to Cusco, you're going to be spending the day with Carlos Giuseppe. He is a Paco guide. He is so powerful and so quiet and so profound. And you probably will meet him earlier in the week because his wife makes incredible, beautiful jewelry, and usually he accompanies. And he also he works with meteors and meteorites and has hand carved all kinds of different items that are very powerful tools for people to use as well. We will also go into this really cool little shaman shop that's located in Pisac, and there's another Carlos, so who's there, and again, a really cool opportunity to purchase some different items if you desire. And just as a FYI, they can go ahead and ship things back to America if you want. Carlos, our last guy, he is going to again, we'll be bringing you to another sacred ancient site where then you have an opportunity to really have another ceremony, which is a rebirthing, cleansing. And when you're doing these different ceremonies, what happens oftentimes is that people will break through and they will actually see back into different time periods. Because depending on where you are in your spiritual journey, it really allows you to connect with the history, with the ancient ones, as you are moving into different levels of awareness and awakening along the way. After that, then you will have your final meal, and then we will get you to the airport by 3 o'clock. And like I said, usually the flights aren't until 5. So depending on, where that is time wise, and you may find yourself you want to do some last minute shopping that's somewhere around that area, you can do that as well. Okay, I want to share my screen for one quick minute because I want to make sure to show you guys this video. So, because I'm so excited about this, just to see it and to feel it together. We are going there, people. Those are our medicine people. That's the salt mines. That's the stone carved temple. Those were the elders from Machu Picchu, Daniel and Yannette. Those are your drums and our beautiful people. That's Louise, and that was Yannette's mother. Louise is the Paco. But the food is exquisite, absolutely exquisite. Pretty cool, huh? All right, people, you can all unmute and anybody can ask me whatever question you want from here.
Judy, do you recommend a certain amount of money to bring to exchange right off the bat?
I would never go anywhere without $1,000. There's no way on earth I wouldn't go without $1,000. And you may want to have two, you know, there's nothing wrong with having a couple $1,000s in your pocket. You're going to get a nice exchange rate, but if you don't really want it, I mean, you're going to keep the money on your body. I always tell people, keep your money on your body. Don't be, hanging your bags out all over creation. Keep your body, your money and your passport on your body. But yeah, I would definitely bring $1,000, $2,000 and or have, your credit cards and just use your credit cards. But it's up to you as to how you want to do that. But you have to have some cash on hand. But let me tell you, all those tips and all that stuff costs a bloody fortune because I pay everybody.
Yeah.
But that's part of what I do to
Right.
make sure that you guys can just be part of that experience.
Do you recommend, somebody told me that from the previous trip. Do you recommend us having some toilet paper with us?
Absolutely 100%. And we will give everybody small toilet papers. And so you may want to have, that's like the next calls that we'll do along the
Oh,
way.
okay.
You're going to want to have some personal wipes. You're going to go ahead and have toilet paper and Kleenexes, but that is not something that you can, you're going to have it with you. Okay. So I will admit this. We went somewhere and we were doing ceremony and we'd been out riding a long time. And I'm like, okay, people, I said, well, where's the baños, por favor? And so the Paco points over to the metal shed and I go over to the metal shed and I open the door and it's a wood floor with a square cut hole. And I opened the door and I looked back out to the group and I said, it's going to be rough. So that is real. Okay. That is real. And I was very grateful. There was a wonderful wood on the front of the door that I could hold on to help for balancing the situation.
One other question. When I had filled out the application, I had put I wanted to, do the drum.
Mhm.
Is there a certain time limit we have to decide about the plant medicine?
The I have to prepay for the plant medicine and the drums prior to going. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that, and sometimes, yeah. So it's not that we can't add one or two people or minus one or two people, but the problem is the payment resonance of it and how that works. Because
Okay.
then it's like having the cash with the exchange and all of that comes into play. So yeah, I'll just leave
What
it
would,
like I want you to pray on it ahead of time. And
okay.
usually your guides will tell you ahead of time that you're okay with it. And I've had people who've gone ahead and paid for it ahead even if they really weren't sure. But at this point in time, every person who has paid for it has participated in it. And I had a 82-year-old woman my last trip, and she was so enthralled by what she learned from the medicine, because it's just another teacher, is what it is.
So what is your deadline for the drum and the,
Oh, I can go until probably, because this is in October. I can do August. Yeah.
okay.
Well, June, I want all money by June. I want all money by the end of
By
June,
June?
because I want to be
Okay.
done with it. Yeah, I want to be done with that part.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Judy, I have a question. Are you gonna send a link for us with this medical insurance to buy
Yep.
for the trip? Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
So what I'm going to do from today is as long as I have everybody's email address, I will go ahead and I will send you the recording of today and the forms, the discussions, the talk points that we just went through. Okay. So everybody has that, along with links. And the links also include places that we're going to. So it gives you a chance to see it and to feel it and to, to connect with that as well.
Okay.
Judy, you had mentioned about hair dryers. Are they going to have hair dryers at the hotel or?
They usually have a hair dryer, yes.
Okay.
Okay. But don't plan on a lot of, blowy things. So just isn't a lot of electricity.
I need to dry it. Like you, it's very thick. It takes it takes a bit.
I hear you. I hear you. So yeah.
Okay.
All right, good. Good to see you again. Anybody?
Also taking gifts for the kids, yeah. Do you think they like you go there so they like clothes or maybe they like little toys? Like what is
Toys
good?
is what usually people end up bringing. Well, one of the things that I brought was I brought Mickey Mouse socks, or I brought little
Uh-huh.
girl brushes, and things that were lightweight, but not something that was just going to bust in 5 seconds. You know what I mean? So something that could be a fun toy that because and these kids, many of these kids never had any gifts before he started doing this a few years ago. And so he's given away thousands and thousands of gifts per season to these different villages, is what he does. They all come together, and it's a beautiful ministry. He has another service project he did was it was very, very dry, and they didn't have the water that was in San Salvador. And so he raised money to be able to create a whole water system of being able to have the pumps that would then, drive the water from the waterfall and the upper lakes back down into the city, so they would have it. So he's constantly being asked to help with these different large community projects. And nobody has the money or the resources to be able to, get this roof for this incredible temple that, is hundreds of years old. And we have, I bet it probably dates back to the 1500s. And we're going to have an opportunity to be able to go into that. Oh my gosh, how precious is that? So, I'm like, yeah, we'll buy the roof. I'll buy the roof. I'll ask people, but we'll buy the roof. It doesn't matter. So thank you so much. So yeah, really, really cool. Okay, anybody else?
What kind of shoes would you recommend?
You absolutely can use tennis shoes are okay. I went the first time with tennis shoes, and then another time I got myself some low ankle walking boots, but comfortable walking boots, and then again, I always encourage people to go ahead and to wear them ahead of time, so that way you get a chance to break them in, and you're not, worried about it the day of and having all those different blisters and things. But you're going to want to be able to bring some of those different personal care items. You might want to have some, Band-Aids, some, just some little, your own little health items as well, just as a FYI.
Excuse me. Hmm.
So how does the medical insurance work?
Well, you have medical insurance now?
Uh, yeah.
Okay, so sometimes your providers will go ahead and provide that. If you're working with a national company, then oftentimes you may already have that. Otherwise, you're just buying the supplemental plan. It's a couple $100 and it covers your trip, the cost of your trip, and it also will cover you for like, it might be $500,000 for medical insurance. I will tell you, I had a guest who ended up having emergency surgery. His spleen burst. And that's when this policy came into play. I was so grateful that the gentleman had a national position, and so he had the insurance. I will say this, we got him to the doctor by day 3 because again, we're not going to let it go. And they knew that there was a problem, and we got him directly to the hospital, and he was in surgery the same day and stayed in the presidential suite. And the owner of the hospital did the surgery. And that is one Machu Picchu trip I did not go on because I was in the hospital and Daniel did. So that was a beautiful, again, how to be able to work with and through. Actually, Jonathan was on that trip with me, and he got a chance to go to Machu Picchu that time. So, and I'm excited. I'm bringing Jonathan to be as a helper this time as well. So those of you who were with me in Mount Shasta have met Jonathan, but Jonathan, can you put your face on for just a quick minute? Or I don't know if you're on the phone or not, but maybe you can stick your face on. And I've been working with Jonathan for many different years. And so I've asked him to be able to help us. And maybe he's not there at the moment. So anyway, you'll meet him along the way. He was the picture that was in the front, the face in the front. Oh, Jonathan, there you are. I can hear. Say hello.
Hold on, I'm trying to get my video on. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yep, I can hear you. Yeah, just say hi.
Hi.
Okay. It went away. All right, he's hitting buttons.
Hi, guys. I'm having technical difficulties here.
That's all right. No worries. Thank you. Anyway, but yeah, so it'll be easy. So there will be 4 guides at all the time. Jonathan, Yannette, Daniel, and I. So along with some other people that I know, but I'm really excited because I do want to bring a little bit of a larger group, and the reason why is because he's closing down the hotel. You are.
Hey,
There he is. We love you. Mwah, 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 mwah.
He's
How's
got
it going,
fans.
Ann?
He's got fans. So thank you.
you're welcome.
And Jonathan also is a shaman, and so he's been on his journey for a long time as well. So it's exciting that I have a chance to bring him in a new role. So yay, hooray!
Yeah.
Anybody else for questions?
Judy, how many people do you have signed up right now? Since you're saying it's a larger group.
So at this moment I have 10 guests.
Okay.
And I expect to get another 10 guests, but that's it.
Okay.
So yeah, it will be because I'm going to do 2 15-passenger vans, but we are not out of 30 people. Okay. But I do want to have I want to he's closing the hotel, he's closing the hotel. And so I've got to be able to respect that and hold that energy. And I'm bringing Jonathan, which is a whole different thing for me. And I'm going to support him too. So anybody else? All right, people. Well, thank you so very much for your time. I know this took quite a while, but I really appreciate your patience, but it's a lot of wonderful information. I will be sending all of this to you along the way. If there's anybody that I do not have your email, who Hummi, Hummi. Who's that? Okay. All right. Anyway, I don't think I have an email for that address. So if you want to go ahead and email me, it's rev.judy.weaver@gmail.com. Then I'll go ahead and send you information as well. All right, my friends, I'm going to just give you a blessing and be done. So here we go. Heavenly Father, Great Spirit, thank you so much for the blessings of each of these beautiful travelers. Continue to hold them in this space of grace. Continue to allow all of us to be in the sacredness of this time and space. We ask this in your precious name. Amen and aho. All right, thank you,
Aho.
my friends. Bye.